Hi, I'm Paul McBeth. I'm the Global Marketing Director of ECN. ECN's the leading digital out-of-home media publisher in offices across Europe. We have 900 programmatic screens in those markets across about 25 cities, and obviously my role is to amplify our brand story across those markets. I'd say the biggest change in digital out-of-home in recent years has really been the shift from a digital poster to a channel that has become incredibly flexible, and not only a brand-based channel, but also a performance-based channel. And I think m-commerce obviously has had a lot to do with that. Everyone now has essentially a store in their pocket on their phone. And that's obviously opened up the role for digital channels beyond just the online environment and the mobile environment. And digital out-of-home, it's, I think, in a really, really great spot because it's traversing the online and it's actually sitting in between the online and the offline worlds. And, you know, for a company like ECN, which offers the opportunity for brands to connect programmatically in office foyers, which we know is an environment where the audiences are more engaged because they're in a more positive mindset when they arrive in the office. And just as they're heading up to their desks, we know it's a fantastic opportunity to talk to this very valuable audience. And in actual fact, we did a research study just recently, which actually proved that London office professionals in particular spend $15.4 billion pounds, I should say, every year, while they're in the office, physically sitting in their offices. So ECN and digital out-of-home, programmatic digital out-of-home provides this fantastic opportunity to connect before the decision makers actually make the decision. I think probably the biggest misconceptions around programmatic digital out-of-home, I mean, the one that would come up the most, I think, would be pricing, and in particular, pricing comparisons to programmatic online. And I think at the end of the day, you know, what people need to remember is that programmatic digital out-of-home has a finite amount of inventory. And again, in the case of a business like ours, where we're offering brands, you know, a really premium, low advertising clutter environment, there is a premium that comes with that because the attention and the engagement levels are higher. So that's probably the main one that comes up. I think the other perception that does come up a lot is that programmatic digital out-of-home should be sort of lower end of the funnel, which is not surprising, again, because of the online heritage of that viewpoint. But again, I think what programmatic digital out-of-home does is it offers both, as I said earlier, the brand and the performance metric. And you know, there is lots and lots of research that's been done that shows that digital out-of-home advertising, particularly contextual digital out-of-home advertising, is more effective at driving brand salience or is equally as effective, I should say, as driving brand salience and memory encoding as a 15-second TV ad. So I think they're probably two of the biggest misconceptions that come up. And in terms of what the industry can do, I just think it gets back to education. I think the golden rules for success in digital out-of-home and programmatic digital out-of-home especially is obviously know what you're looking to achieve. So obviously set really clear KPIs. You know, I think know the environments and the context that your brand or your advertising is going to appear in, and make sure that the message is suited to that. So, you know, obviously context is something that's super important, whether that's understanding the mindsets, whether it's understanding the time the message is going to be delivered, or whether there's any other external events that may trigger that. And I mean, obviously the most well quoted one is weather and things like that. So I think, you know, using context is absolutely critical. I think another thing that people should really remember is, from an omni-channel perspective, is the power of motion, and in particular the power of full motion. And again, ECN, you know, once again, all of our 900 programmatic screens offer full motion capability. And I think as we find the level of omni-channel campaigns increasing, and you know, we already know that, for example, that online video has increased significantly in the last 12 to 18 months in terms of the advertising spend. So that's going to definitely make its way into the digital out-of-home ecosystem as well. So I think, you know, when again looking for success, make sure you're not just looking at the media targeting, so to speak, but also how you're absolutely optimizing the creative outcome through context, and in particular through things like full motion video. I think the next 3 to 5 years is going to be extremely exciting, and of course the first one will be AI, and how will AI affect the actual trading of programmatic digital out of home. And I think certainly from a planning point of view, it's going to really accelerate that process quite dramatically. So I think the speed at which plans developed and executed is going to increase quite dramatically, which obviously has a lot of implications for media publishers. And then of course the creative, the ability to create, if not thousands of different creative variations for a campaign is quite frankly something we've probably never seen before, and I think that's going to be an incredibly exciting thing to keep an eye on. I think format innovation is another big one in digital out of home. I mean everyone knows about the Sphere in Las Vegas, but the ability of physical infrastructure to be transformed into either a digital screen or a digital out of home out at a point in time, I think is going to be a really interesting space to watch, and I can just see that happening more and more as we move into the future. I think smart cities is another interesting thing to look at, how digital out of home screens are going to be used within the community and to help community, whether it's safety alerts or talking about events that are up and coming. I can see more and more of that happening, and in actual fact that's pretty much aligned to the way we operate at ECN. We pretty much provide a service to the office buildings we're in. We're not a pure play advertising platform. We actually provide the offices themselves with content for their building which connects with their building community. So I think that's going to become an increasingly important thing as we move into the future. And I think, all in all, digital out of home is in a very good space for the next 3 to 5 years for growth.